Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the Saturn Mahadasha Bhuktis. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So just a quick disclaimer that this will all depend upon where Saturn is placed within your natal chart, what aspects it's receiving, and also these individual Bhuktis will depend upon their relationship to Saturn as well. So what are the Bhukti periods? These are the Antardashas or the sub-periods of your dasha. So there are 9 sub-periods within a Mahadasha, and you want to understand how these Bhuktis are interacting with the Mahadasha Lord. This is very important. So Saturn Mahadasha is a time of discipline, of responsibilities, of hard work. It is all about taking the right path and using the correct judgment. Saturn is a very karmic planet, so it tends to bring karmic lessons into one's life during the Saturn Mahadasha. Saturn demands effort, it demands patience, and so this can be a very challenging Mahadasha if you are someone who likes to force things, who likes to rush to get things done. Saturn will demand a great deal of patience from you. But Saturn also is the planet that gives the most tangible results. And so this can also be a great time of growth and achievement within your life as well. So starting off with the Saturn period, which is a 3-year period, this can be tricky, especially in the beginning of this, because you are shifting out of a Jupiter Mahadasha, and Jupiter and Saturn are very different from one another. So this is a changeover period where there is a lot of confusion and changes that are occurring. Coming into this Saturn-Saturn time, there can be some uncertainty, some indecisiveness about what direction you are moving into. However, Saturn-Saturn can give you a lot of opportunities, a lot of moments that are all about your growth, your success. This will demand that you are working hard, though, that you are doing things in the correct way, in the ethical way. This is very important during this Saturn-Saturn. Sometimes this can be a time of losses as well. Saturn will remove anything that is not suited for you. For some of you, this Saturn-Saturn period can increase your stress levels. So you do want to pay attention to your health. This is very important. You can feel as though there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. So following this is a Saturn-Mercury period, which is a 2-year period. And as you come into the Saturn-Mercury, this will be a little bit easier than the initial Saturn-Saturn, because Mercury is good friends with Saturn, so this can bring a lot of luck into your life, a lot of opportunities. And this can feel like there's less weight on your shoulders, that this is much easier to move in this direction of these opportunities for growth and improvement. This can be a time where more people are coming into your life because Mercury is all about communication. So you can find that you are more connected with friends, that you are getting more opportunities through your network circles, that your interaction with others is starting to increase. This can give you a sense of clarity and direction because Mercury is all about making logical decisions. So this is excellent for making big decisions about your future, about where you want to go, planning ahead. The planning aspect of this is very important because you are in a Saturn Mahadasha. This is excellent for starting a new business. This is excellent for your education. All of these areas are excellent for you. This can be a time where your problem-solving abilities are increased as well. This is excellent for giving you the insight and the intellect to push forward in life. However, Mercury is a very impressionable planet, so if Mercury is placed negatively within your chart, there can be some miscommunication, some travel delays, some inconsistencies that are occurring. This can seem almost like a Mercury retrograde where there are mishaps with this position. So you do want to make sure that you are carefully planning and making clear decisions. Following this is a 1 year period of Saturn-Ketu. And at this time, this is going to be more of an introverted time because Saturn and Ketu both are very introverted planets. This is going to take you inward, where this is all about developing yourself, all about self-improvement. And you can get some opportunities at this time as well. This can take you traveling, as Ketu is related to this restless energy of wanting to make changes. However, this is going to be more of a behind the scenes part of your life during this Saturn Mahadasha, taking you behind the scenes into this more introverted state. This can affect your health and your self-esteem as well. K2 here can make you doubt yourself. It can decrease your self-esteem. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to all of these areas. Meditation is very helpful during this Saturn K2. Following this is a Saturn-Venus, and Saturn-Venus is excellent because these are both friends. So if Saturn and Venus are placed well in your chart, this can bring you a lot of happiness through your relationships. This can be excellent for marriage, excellent for your family, all of this, bringing people together. And as Saturn is all about longevity, this is excellent, again, for starting new relationships, starting new business partnerships, creating connections that last. For those of you who are talented in the arts and fashion and all of these areas that are related to Venus, this is excellent for your success as well. On the negative side, if these planets are placed badly in your chart, it can bring you some difficulties within your relationships. There can be a lot of conflicts, arguments, disagreements, separations that are happening during this time. So this is definitely a time where you want to put everything on the table, where you want to be honest and talk things out, because this can bring a lot of conflicts, particularly when there is secrecy. Remember that Saturn is a very introverted planet. So any kind of secrecy can lead to disputes. This can also be a time where you are having losses as well. Saturn is Karaka for the 12th house. So you do want to be careful about expenses because Venus is wanting to indulge in the material world, and you can become a spendthrift at this time. You can be spending impulsively and getting yourself into financial difficulties. Following this is an 11th month period of Saturn-Sun, and this is challenging because Saturn and Sun are enemies. Saturn and Sun are always directly opposite to one another, and so this is a conflicting influence at this time. Saturn-Sun can get you noticed by others. It can bring you fame, popularity at this time, especially around your career and reputation. This is excellent for moving up into higher positions. This is excellent for your career success and opportunities. This, however, is a time where you may not get the support that you are looking for. So it can be a time that is demanding a lot of independence and self-reliance from you. There also can be difficulties with the father or with authority figures, especially if there is some sort of difficulty between the Sun and Saturn within your natal chart. So you want to see where these are positioned and how they're being aspected. This can also increase your stress level and difficulties. Because the Sun is related to your reputation, many of you will put a lot of effort into your career at this time. So you can have difficulties related to stress. And you want to be careful of this because the Sun is directly related to the heart. So there can be health issues related to the heart and the blood. Following this is a 1 year period of Saturn-Moon. And this is also a difficult time because, again, Saturn is having a difficulty with the luminaries. So Saturn and Moon are not friends with one another. And this can cause a lot of difficulties, especially on a psychological level. The moon is representing the mind, and Saturn is a very heavy and serious influence. So at this time, you can become depressed, isolated. This can be a time where you are more serious and hardworking, putting a lot of stress and constraint onto yourself. This can be a difficult time when it comes to getting support through others, because this energy is directly impacting the moon, which is all about popularity. So you can have difficulties with friends and connections, especially if this is placed in a difficult position within your natal chart. This, however, can also get you popularity. It can get you noticed as well, similar to Saturn-Sun, if you are putting in effort and being patient. At this time, you can find that there are losses or limitations that are dissatisfying to you. So again, this can cause a lot of depression, a lot of internal struggles. And this is an excellent time for meditation. It's an excellent time to focus on your health. Following this is a 1 year period of Saturn-Mars. And this is again a difficult period because Saturn and Mars are neutral to one another, but they are on a different path. Saturn is all about discipline. It is all about patience, structure, where Mars wants to charge in impulsively. So these two are in conflict with one another. And so this can be a time where you're pushing yourself past the limit. With this Saturn-Mars, you can have a tendency to overexpend or to exhaust yourself at this time, trying to push forward against obstacles and barriers. So you do want to pay attention to your health at this time because this can negatively impact your health by trying to force things to happen. This, however, is not a time for laziness. Saturn does demand work and discipline. So this becomes all about being able to balance out this Saturn and Mars energy. It's about having the patience to take the right action at the right time. And so this is all about planning. This is all about being patient, but it is also about taking the initiative when needed. This is a time to focus on your work, on your responsibilities. This is very important. For some of you, if this is placed in a difficult position in your chart, both Saturn and Mars, there can be anger issues. There can be a lot of frustration and tension, getting into conflicts and quarrels with others. So you do want to have some patience. Following this is Saturn-Rahu. And this is also going to be a challenging time because Rahu wants to move into a brand new direction. It wants change. It wants innovation. Rahu is very unconventional and Saturn is very conventional. So there's a conflict that is happening for this next 3 year period where this can be a time where you're very impatient, where you are wanting things to move in the way that you want it to. You can get into a lot of conflicts and difficulties with others. You can lose patience in situations where you had patience before. And there can be dramatic changes in your social situation as well. You can find that you are putting up barriers, that you are removing people from your life at this time. This is definitely a time where you need some sort of outlet to do something new, to do something different, to experiment. And so this can be a time where you are trying out new things, especially in regards to business. You do want to be careful if you are working under a boss or authority figure. Again, this is a very rebellious influence of Rahu. So you can get into conflicts with superiors, and this can cause you a lot of problems at this time. The last period of Saturn Mahadasha is Saturn-Jupiter. So this is the dasha chidra, the changeover period. And this is typically going to be a more positive time in your life where you are feeling that the weight is being lifted off of your shoulders. This is excellent for enjoying your success, enjoying your achievements. This is bringing this to you during this Saturn-Jupiter period. This is excellent for getting support from others. This is excellent for new opportunities, for new people coming into your life. But this also can be somewhat of a chaotic time where you are feeling these dramatic changes that are occurring as you're shifting ahead into the next period of Mercury. So this is definitely a time where you want to focus on the positives rather than on any sort of negatives, because there is going to be a lot of transformation that is occurring during this Saturn-Jupiter period.